On March 5, 1940, a series of events and decisions marked a significant escalation in what would become known as the War Against Humanity, a term used to describe the systematic atrocities and genocides carried out during World War II. This date symbolizes the confluence of policies, actions, and ideologies that led to unparalleled human suffering and loss. As Nazi Germany solidified its control over occupied territories, the regime's brutal agenda began to unfold with devastating consequences. Nazi ideology and the road to genocide. The roots of the war against humanity lay in the virulent ideologies propagated by Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. Central to Nazi ideology was the belief in racial purity and the superiority of the Aryan race. This belief system not only justified the conquest of other nations, but also mandated the elimination of those deemed racially inferior or politically undesirable. Jews, Roma, disabled individuals, political dissidents, and other minorities were targeted in what would become an orchestrated campaign of extermination. The Katyn Massacre Decision. On March 5, 1940, one of the early atrocities of the war took a step closer to fruition. The Soviet Politburo, led by Joseph Stalin, signed an order to execute over 22,000 Polish officers, intellectuals, and prisoners of war in what would be known as the Katyn Massacre. This decision was emblematic of the broader terror and repression enacted by totalitarian regimes during the conflict. The Katyn Massacre was not just a war crime, but a calculated effort to eliminate the Polish elite and cripple Poland's ability to resist Soviet domination. Escalation of anti-Jewish measures. By early 1940, the Nazi regime had already enacted a series of oppressive measures against Jews, including the Nuremberg Laws of 1935 and Kristallnacht in 1938. In occupied Poland, ghettos were established to segregate and control the Jewish population. On March 5, 1940, Heinrich Himmler, head of the SS, was deepening his plans for the final solution, the complete eradication of the Jewish people. The early months of 1940 saw increasing brutality in the ghettos, with starvation, forced labor, and arbitrary executions becoming commonplace. The role of the SS and Einsatzgruppen. The SS, particularly the Einsatzgruppen, played a central role in carrying out the war against humanity. These mobile killing units followed the German army into occupied territories, conducting mass shootings and other forms of extermination. By March 1940, their activities were expanding, with systematic killings in Poland and plans being made for similar actions in other areas. The Einsatzgruppen's efficiency in murder set a grim precedent for the horrors that would later be enacted on an even larger scale in the death camps. International response and denial. While information about these atrocities began to leak out, the international response was initially muted. Reports from occupied Poland and other territories were often met with skepticism or disbelief. The sheer scale and systematic nature of the Nazi genocidal policies were difficult for the world to grasp. Furthermore, wartime priorities and propaganda influenced public perception, delaying a cohesive international response to the unfolding humanitarian disaster. Conclusion: the legacy of March 5, 1940. March 5, 1940 serves as a poignant reminder of the early stages of the war against humanity, highlighting how ideological fanaticism, state machinery, and systematic planning can lead to unprecedented atrocities. The decisions made and actions taken around this date marked a critical escalation in the Nazi regime's genocidal agenda and set the stage for the Holocaust and other war crimes. Understanding the events of this day and their broader context is crucial for remembering the victims and ensuring that the lessons of history are not forgotten. The war against humanity is a stark reminder of the depths of cruelty that human beings can inflict on one another when driven by hatred, ideology, and a lust for power. As we reflect on these dark chapters, we reaffirm our commitment to human rights and the prevention of such atrocities in the future.